right. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Repitch. I know it's been, years now?
It's been a little bit over a year.
Yeah, it's been over a year. So a big welcome back. I guess you could say this is our revival, our reboot.
Season 3, Dave. I think
Season 3.
Season 3.
Season 3 right here. But something new that we want to bring to the table. We just don't want to do every episode as a repitch. So we're trying to do this segment here, just kind of bring you guys new news, whatever we find interesting, and hopefully you guys will as well.
Yeah, a little spice of life.
Yes. Oh, and before I forget, if you guys do not remember us,
we should introduce ourselves.
Yes, we should. If you guys remember, I am your host, David, and here with my co-host.
I'm Richard.
Yes. And the Repitch guys are back. But today, like I said, we're going to change it up a bit and bring you some latest news. Main topic for today. Some big changes in DC movies, or even in the Warner Brothers industry or company. But the one that we want to talk about is the signing of Dan Lin to be the head of new DC movies.
Who is that, David?
Dan Lin. I'm sure you guys have no idea who he is, but he had.
I had no idea who he is.
Me neither. But I recognize the name because I see his name pop up in the past decade for a lot of different movies that I went to go watch. And the ones most notable probably for the animated movies are like the Lego Movie series.
Oh, okay, cool.
He was a producer for the It series, like It movie series. He did a lot of new Disney movies. He did producing work for the Aladdin movie. He did a lot of work for Godzilla. He was part of the Departed, Sherlock Holmes series. And also his first movie was Torque back in the day. It was a movie kind of like, I guess, the Fast and Furious version of for motorcycles.
That's so interesting. So what would this guy do for DC, David?
DC. Well, I mean, the hopes is, a lot of articles have been going around putting him at the top as, DC is bringing him in to be their Kevin Feige. And now that is a tall order. That is huge. I mean, we all know who Kevin Feige is now. Like maybe at the beginning of all this MCU stuff, nobody had any idea, but he is a household name now. And
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was telling you before, he's become the quintessential producer for franchises now. Like he's the example that everybody goes to, and I think rightfully so. Like he's created one of the biggest movie franchises ever. And
and I totally agree. Like this guy, you know his face, even though you don't know any. You don't really a producer. No one really knows what a producer does.
Right.
Honestly.
Exactly. So it's safe to say, I feel like Kevin Feige has really changed how the producers looked at now. I would say the producer always had a lot of power, but they were never seen in the way that they are now because of Kevin Feige. I feel like. And
no, I completely agree. Yeah.
And just on top of that, let me ask you this: like, do you, not knowing 100%, but I just listed out several movies that Dan Lin was a part of. Do you think he'll find success?
David, this is the first not good news. This is the first somewhat positive news from DC in a long time, I feel like.
For sure.
And anytime I hear DC come up, it's some kind of scandal. Some actors or actress is doing something, or like Warner Brothers or HBO is doing something. But props to him, an Asian guy leading a producer. I'm all for it. I'm all supportive of it.
Absolutely. I mean, that's definitely one of the first things that caught my eye, having him being Asian. But even more so than that, I don't know. I think I'm on the fence about him.
Why?
I know he's had a strong track record of different movies, but I guess when it comes to things like comic book franchises and things like this, my big question is, does he know this stuff? Does he know this material, or is he just pumping out movies? I think one of the main differences that I will compare him to Kevin Feige with Now I don't know Dan Lin's history, so like I don't know how much he does know or he doesn't know. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
going based off of what has been shown to us so far. But what I do know about Kevin Feige is that he genuinely knows and loves comic books. Like he,
Mm-hmm.
ever since he first started up back in the X-Men days, he knew the material. He knew everything about these characters, about the world, to the point where like a lot of the cast and crew members referred to him as a walking encyclopedia for Marvel. Like back when like
Interesting. Okay.
he was first starting out. Now that does Dan Lin have that? Like, does he have that type of knowledge? That's all I want to know. And I feel like, sure, it might be a successful movie franchise or like movie series franchise, but is it gonna bring that same heart and genuine love that Kevin Feige was able to bring? But I mean, I do have some things about Marvel these days, but that's a completely different topic.
I completely agree. Having that forehand knowledge beforehand, no, having that knowledge beforehand of the material is important. But because I feel like something that Kevin Feige does so well is that he's a great barrier between what the studio wants and what like the artist wants, what the comic book person wants.
Right.
Where
Right.
and you need that. What do you call it? Strength. You need that, like, oh, I got this, like, we're gonna stick to this schedule, this plan, this idea. Like, you as an artist, you as a director can you can take out Waititi it your way, but like we're sticking to the script, we're sticking to this like plan.
No, absolutely. Like you see it in a lot of these Marvel movies, especially nowadays. You see there's it's very structured nowadays. It's like they gotta follow a certain structure.
What you're gonna get.
Exactly. There's a formula to these movies, just the way that Pixar has this set formula for their movies. I feel like the MCU now has that as well.
Oh yeah.
Like back in the day, you could see like they were testing the waters, doing a bunch of different things, starting with like Iron Man. I think the tipping point for that might have been like Iron Man 3, where it felt a little off color from the rest of it. Mm-hmm. But like it was pretty essential. It was good still. I enjoyed that one. But
I didn't. But that's a whole different.
I mean, that is a different. My point for that is that I think, in a way, you're right. We want to see Iron Man be Iron Man, but it was kind of a good way of showing Tony Stark not being Iron Man and his abilities without the suit. I think, ultimately, but again, that's another.
Let's go back to topic. I do not agree with you at all with that. That's terrible. Like,
But ultimately, back to this question: what does this mean for DC movies? Like with a new producer, new everything, and
I think before for just a little bit of like history, not history, like what's going on with DC right now.
Oh,
it's I was talking. Before recording, we're saying like right now, DC, HBO, Warner Bros. It is a dumpster fire. People are annoyed. HBO, like there's like a merger going on. HBO is getting rid of a bunch of episodes to cost money. Yeah. They canceled releasing the Batgirl movie.
Oh yeah.
And like they're not planning to release that.
It's just utter chaos over there. It's anarchy right now. It's like the Wild West. Every man for themselves. I think
exactly. And they have like 3-4 movies done right now, but like they're not releasing it because there's like stores that they don't have the money, so it's legit just a dumpster fire.
It is crazy how far and fast the DC universe has dropped. Like
it is.
Like from the beginning, so much hope into it.
I think it had that much hope.
I mean, like there was like that whole like, oh, Justice League is coming, like that whole thing, and then after like 2 movies, done, over. I mean, of course you sprinkle in like that Wonder Woman, and then like Shazam, like the other movies that kind of like did well, okay, but still, like it's just like nothing else is panning out for them right now, and it's incredible how much it's being messed up. Like,
it is incredible. But honestly, it's the same issue they have with Star Wars over there in Lucasfilms. Too many cooks, no idea what people are doing, and whatever sticks, they're just running with it. Like, oh, people love Mandalorian, let's just focus on all Mandalorian stuff.
So, let me ask you this then: why is Star Wars finding a little bit more success with it than DC with their movies? in your in your sight, in your view? Like if you
I
see them in that same
I
way.
don't think I don't think Disney is doing better when it comes to movies. I think equally they're negative and they're not doing so well because of a lot of things, fans, studio, and a bunch of stuff.
What?
But what Disney does better is
Mm.
for sure TV.
Okay, okay.
Streaming, they're king right now.
Right. No, they are. I mean,
Yeah.
recently they just took the number one spot over Netflix, so
Yeah,
that's huge.
which is crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Now, with the leaving of like we're talking about chaos in DC, especially I
Mhm.
think it was a lot had to do with the former head of the DC movies, Walter Hamada. Like you're saying, like the Batgirl movie that got canceled. This
Yeah.
guy was gonna leave out because of that, because of the Batgirl movie was gonna get canceled. But now he's just staying until Black Adam's done, all that. And then you got that whole Flash movie that's like
Oh my god.
in limbo now because the actor. Now that's like
Is
a
it
whole nother.
certified insane? Like Ezra Miller, you gotta look it up. We could talk about crazy actors, but he's one of them, and just
Which is kind of, I feel like it just happened out of nowhere. It was almost like a Mel Gibson thing. Like it just,
oh,
like it just happened.
oh man. But like, this brings up an interesting question, David.
Mm.
If you were this guy, if you were the Kevin Feige of DC, what would you do?
The Kevin Feige of DC. What would I do?
Yeah. Right now, imagine they came to your house like, David, everything is in your hands. What do you want to do next? What's the first step?
Well, honestly, the first few steps, I think I would play it safe. You gotta go
Mhm.
with, I think one thing I respect about the MCU and how they started up was they took these few characters that everybody knew and they made good singular movies for them. That was how they started. That was the focus. And it's kind of hard to pass up. Like you gotta start with Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, in my opinion. Like that's where it
Mhm.
all starts. That's where it's gotta go. Um, Now, how to set the tone for this universe? I think the issue with what originally happened was they were going for this whole Batman dark gritty tone for the entirety of
Oh
like
yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
thing. And you can't do that. I think one of the highlights of the MCU was that each individual movie you felt like it was their movie. Like this
Mhm.
was Captain America. This is Tony Stark and Iron Man. This is Thor. You feel it. Like that storyline follows what the character is. I think one of the things like for DC was like Superman. There was a bit of like a dark undertone to it that even though the whole
That gritty, realistic
yeah
way,
yeah
and it just feels you feel dirty watching it. Who directed again? I forgot what's his name. The
was that
Snyder
no
cut. Snyder.
oh that was Snyder yeah.
Snyder. Yeah, the Zack Snyder tone. It's the cuts and
Right,
everything.
right. I think he has his successes in certain things, but this I don't know if it for me personally, I don't know if it translated well to the to this. Not to say now we're gonna go down another rabbit hole, so let me save that for another time.
Yeah.
But to go
So
back
you say
to
you'll keep it safe? Okay. How
honest,
so?
like I was saying, to keep it safe, I think start off with the big three, create movies series, several movies out of that, and then
So the big three: Batman, Superman, and Wonder
Wonder
Woman.
Woman, yeah.
Okay.
Start off with there, and then just you know, I'm starting to think about it a little bit more, and I'm just following that MCU formula.
You are.
I am.
It.
It's like it's hard not to though, right?
It's
Like
not. It is. But I mean, do you have any other plans? But like, I'm gonna throw a wrench into this and like, let's do something different. I have a crazy idea. I'm gonna go like Taika Waititi insane. You have anything else you want to add to that? But what would you do?
um honestly, it's I think one of the aspects I do want to highlight in all of this is I think one of the things I enjoyed about DC is their whole take on sidekicks. If you
Interesting.
if you notice, I think one of the main differences is between MCU and DC characters is that the DC characters all had sidekicks. They had like
Yeah.
little younglings,
Partners like
yeah, partner, yeah,
Robin or
Rob, Superboy, Wonder Woman had
Aqualad. Yeah.
exactly, and then MCU's like I think that was more recent, like where they started bringing up young Avengers and things like that,
Yeah.
but they never really had dynamic. And I think that's kind of one of the things that separates DC, and that's what we got. That's what they gotta like highlight and bring out. I feel like. So I mean, if I don't have set goals, I can't tell you like, oh, this movie we're gonna do this in how many years. But like, I think that point, that factor, is something that should be brought out to start off with. So like with Batman, no need to start off a fresh new Batman story about him being, becoming Batman. How about him training a Robin, or like that's how we start off in this universe, or him already having a Robin, and that's where this story sets off. And maybe if I really wanted to play it a risk, start off with a teen type, or like start off with the younger kids, and then start spreading that out in a Young Justice type of way. But yeah, I think that's kind of generally how I would do it. But I want to hear your crazy idea.
Yeah, I swear, David, you and I on the same link. Like, for the audio listeners, you can't tell, but David and I, we're wearing Captain America shirts. We didn't plan this out. This is so lame, but so cool at the same time. Yeah, David, I love how you mentioned focus on the sidekicks, because that's exactly where I want to go. What I would do with the movies they have, release it. If they don't have the money, put on HBO, whatever. Just get it out there. Right, get some name out there. What I would do first, no movies.
Oh, okay.
Focus straight up on HBO. If Peacemakers showed us anything, is the accessibility, how good a TV show can be.
Yes, agreed.
So I don't want a CW level. I don't want like a CW level drama of like Arrow or Flash, but I want the boys' quality, not tone, TV quality of HBO. Just focus straight up on that. Game right now, HBO, all they have going for them is Game of Thrones, and I guarantee you that well is gonna dry up quick. But that's a different conversation again. But just focus straight up on HBO, and instead of introducing everyone, just be very focused. Hey, we have a Robin, we have a Tim Drake Robin trying to form the Justice League, and through the Justice League, through Aqualad, Superboy, we see glimpses of Superman and stuff like that, and we see other shows pop up. I want more shows to come up, like. Have you read the Injustice? The Injustice games,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely, yeah.
The Injustice comics, David. I don't know if you read it.
I did. That's how I got into it.
Yeah, amazing. Like the games, I don't care for games like fighting games like that, but the comic books are so good. Just introducing that kind of, hey, let's just spin it off. Like literally the first episode, the Joker. Like spoilers, I mean, like it's like what 10-year-old comic, 10-year-old comic. Like the Joker poisons Superman that he thinks he's fighting Doomsday, but in reality he actually kills Lois Lane that's pregnant with his child, and Superman becomes a super Nazi, and it's like great. It's like it's so good. Like I don't know why that's not made into a show.
Right? No, I think the problem is this. From what I see, is everybody wants to do that build up. Like they want
build up. Just
exactly. Like that was, I think, for DC, like they wanted that build up. But if they just flat out came with that story,
unapologetic.
Yeah,
because we live in an era right now where people know what Superman is, people know Batman, people have an idea what superhero is.
Yep.
What Marvel is not doing right now that a DC can do is, hey, here is this meat and lore that you can just dig right in, and here's all this you can consume. But it's like Marvel, like you have an idea, you see Moon Knight, you see Marvel, Miss Marvel and all that stuff, but like it's kind of not boring, but like there's no substance. But like, hey, let's introduce this giant world in little snippets, and that's when you can introduce movies. I think Marvel's biggest mistake, not Marvel, DC's biggest mistakes when it came to movie is they try to be like Marvel, and introduce Avengers by Justice League, and like terrible casting, by the way, half of them. Sorry.
Which ones did you do? Do you do like as casting?
Henry Cavill, he is Superman. I feel so bad for that guy, the actor. He is so good.
He's good.
Like Gal Gadot, surprisingly, I don't know. She's not a good. I don't think she's a good actress. No,
I think she was good. She was definitely good for Wonder Woman because of that whole like.
I think the only reason she was good, it was because of the director, Peggy. I forgot her name, but that's like literally the only reason.
Patty Jenkins.
Patty Jenkins. That's not Peggy. But yes, like that is the main reason. But yeah, I would focus mostly on HBO, and once you build it up, put a movie or two, have a Justice League movie, have a Superman movie, have something else. You're building up, because there's, I don't know why, but like, okay, like focus on streaming, because that is a great platform right now. Because Netflix is dying, is is bleeding, and
Yeah.
this is the time to go at it.
Seriously.
So yeah, that's basically my idea.
Oh, okay. No, that's a good idea. I think right on the money. Like just come out guns blazing with everything.
Oh yeah. Unapologetic. Like no one needs to see Batman's parents die 100th time. We all know it.
No, yeah, exactly. No, I think that was one of the things where it slowed down. What was it? Batman vs Superman.
Yeah,
it slowed down that movie a lot more than it needed to be. I think that there was that whole intro about Batman's upbringing, like story.
yeah, like it was like a title sequence, but still,
Yeah,
it's just like
it's just
we know it. We don't need to see it. And that, his mom dying was a whole subplot.
perfect.
Going back,
Perfect example. MCU Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
No origin story. You knew who he was, where he got his powers, how he got his powers. He was just thrust into this new MCU, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I see you on there.
So yeah, it's crazy. It's a gamble because studios, they make their money through movies, but DC's movies are like terrible right now. Like I don't know why they're putting all their. There is no way on earth Black Adam is gonna like. I don't think The Rock can save DC. That's the point where they're at.
He's also appointed as some kind of advisor for DC movies as well now. Like I don't know.
He ain't Jesus. What do you you can't.
The Rock.
What is he gonna do?
I love The Rock. I'm a fan, but he gets his hands into everything.
He does.
It's amazing. It's crazy what he's doing right now.
But there's no way that movie is gonna save DC.
No, I don't.
But yeah, if they don't have the money to release it on theaters, put it on HBO. That'd be a great idea. And they will lose some money, but people will watch it for sure.
No, I think that surprisingly, I would say the HBO thing where like they released it during the pandemic, where they released it on stream at the same time as theater. I think that was a good move, but I think that's from the streamers' perspective.
Oh, for sure. Like, but you get to the whole nightmare of like
right
actors not getting paid, box office grows.
I mean, I feel like at this point though, they gotta rework those contracts and numbers. Like, like streaming numbers, that's got to be a part of the deals now for all these actors.
I'm sure for sure, definitely right now. Marvel, that's a conversation.
Yeah, for sure. Just to kind of tie into it, I know I think we've briefly talked about this question before in past episode, but just to kind of retouch, what franchise would you want to see revamped or repitched? Or is there a franchise that hasn't been developed that you would like to see?
Do you mean DC or just in general?
Just in general.
Oh man. Do you have one? Because the first one that came to my mind is Earthworm Jim, but I don't think anyone is expecting that.
Wait,
what? Earthworm Jim?
Earthworm Jim? Yeah. Oh my gosh, I used to play those games.
It's the best game. But like that, because you asked me that question, that's literally the first thing. But I don't think anyone's gonna be wanting that. But do you have one in mind?
I can't really say it's revamp because it's always continuously being rebooted. But like, I want to see the Ninja Turtles kind of go back to what like the 90s movies were like.
So you want to see like what do you call that? Animatronics?
Not even so much that. I don't mind the CGI, but I mean, I guess the tone of it, because the original Ninja Turtles was dark stuff, man. It was
scary.
Yeah, it was heavy stuff, and I think the 90s movies did a really good job of like portraying that. In the first one at least, and then the second one just kind of got a little bit lighter.
Oh, because the parents got involved, and
probably, and then the third one was just completely whatever. Just forget about that one. But
Ninja Turtles, interesting.
That I would also say Avatar, but that's also kind of being developed right now. The
Last Airbender.
Last Airbender.
Okay, interesting.
So I guess we can only wait and see for what this new series is gonna be like.
I mean, I'm the type of guy. Yeah,
low expectations.
I wouldn't want to touch things that are like classics or like people love. Like Indiana Jones, just leave it alone. It's fine the way it is. But like, I would revamp weird stuff like Earthworm Jim, things people forgot about, but like in the back of your mind, it's like, oh shoot, yeah, I play the games. That's really fun. And you could definitely like. It was a weird cartoon show, but I loved it for some reason.
Yeah, I mean that along with things like
Can you imagine Dan Harmon being involved in that?
oh, he would be perfect for that.
He'd be
Actually,
great. Yeah.
I think he would do a good job with that.
Yeah.
Or him or somebody like James Gunn.
Oh yeah, for sure. Something like weird, really weird and quirky. But that show was
exactly.
border like 90s, 2000s, just weird show.
Weird shows. I think to this day, one of the weirdest show I remember is Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, you can't do that show anymore.
You can't. Even as kids, I was like, can they show this?
That is this generation's Rick and Morty. That's what it is. But even Rick and Morty won't go to the level of weirdness Ren and Stimpy did.
Ren and Stimpy was something else, man.
But yeah, so I would definitely that's a good one. Revamping. I mean, I'm particularly not a fan of revamping old stuff, but yeah.
Is there? Because I know there's like nowadays with movies, it's a lot of franchises coming up. I think that's kind of the safest way to go about it. Something where it's like a sure thing to be continued. And I know Netflix now has picked up the whole Sandman series. I've actually
watched it.
Yeah, I haven't seen the series. I've read a little bit of it, but I've never like fully got into the whole comic series of that. Have you or?
No, I just know the premise and idea, but no.
Yeah. But I do. Well, I guess one of the things I wish would get like remastered is Dragon Ball. I think I'm saying that only because I recently saw the new one, and surprisingly, I enjoyed it a lot.
Oh, what's it called? Superhero?
Yeah.
The one where like Gohan and Piccolo get to the next level or something. Right?
Yeah, pretty much. I guess it was refreshing to see that this movie wasn't all about Vegeta or Goku.
Yeah.
And it was refreshing to see Gohan and Piccolo be able to like get stronger.
That's a very interesting relationship in its own, like
for sure.
Like a found father kind of relationship.
Oh yeah, I mean Piccolo is definitely more of a father than Goku.
100%. Yeah, Goku is a horrible father. He's in the list of terrible dads for sure. Him, who else? A bunch of people. Like he's definitely like Goku's a terrible father. Vegeta's a better father than Goku.
Oh, absolutely. He's actually stuck around for Trunks.
Yeah, and Vegeta's a psychopath.
But yeah, no, actually, that movie, surprisingly, I haven't been a fan of all these like new 3D, like animated stuff when it comes to like these newer like anime movies. But this one was very clean and like it was smooth. There was parts where like they showed clips of like the old DBZ series, and they like remastered it and redrew it. It was like fresh. Everything about it the animation was spot on and solid. I think.
You think people would watch that and the fans would be okay with that? Because Dragon Ball Z fans are they're a whole nother level.
I will say yes, because I think for me as an old time, I haven't seen the newer stuff, I'll be honest, but as an old time fan, this was still enjoyable to me, because there was a little after credit portion too.
Okay.
I guess I can tell you, but spoilers for anybody listening who's gonna watch it. Okay. At the after credits at the beginning of the movie, there's a section where like Goku and Vegeta are being trained by God, and he puts them into.
Without context, people are like, "What is going on?" Oh, sorry, go on.
Oh, I mean, I don't know if you know this whole what the Dragon Ball Super series is.
I have a general idea. But I'm just saying for like people that have no idea what's going on. Okay, so Goku and Vegeta being trained by God. Go on.
And he just puts them up in a training session, like a sparring session, and that's what puts them away for the rest of the movie, and it becomes Gohan and Piccolo's movie. But they get that whole session gets revisited at the end of the credits, and you just see Vegeta. They're both really tired, Goku and Vegeta lands like his last punch, and Goku falls. And it was the first time that it has been recorded where Vegeta beats Goku, and it was just like one of those like, if you're a fan, you'll be able to like satisfaction.
Okay.
So
interesting.
It was definitely like fan service type of material.
No. Yeah.
So unfortunately, it feels like we've only been talking for like 5 minutes, but it's coming to
It's been
the end.
almost 30.
Yeah. But as much as we want to continue our talks about movie franchises, we won't be doing that in this episode. You can catch us on our next episode. Where Richard will be giving a good old fashioned repitch on Despicable Me 2.
Three.
Oh, 3. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Whoops.
No, it'd be 3.
Despicable Me 3. All right. And again, you could find all our information in the description below. I'm forgetting everything. It's been so long. Big shout out to Pandemix for all the music for the intro, outro. And
thank you, buddy. Missed you, man. It's been a while.
It's been a while. And any other notes am I forgetting?
No, all our information's down below. Let us know if you have, like, hey, let's talk about this news, or hey, you give us your opinion on this. Send us our info, and we'll love to talk about it.
All right, and please, if you have any comments, you want to shoot us any suggestions, comments, you love us, you hate us, feel free to comment on our pages. We're on Instagram and Facebook, and also shoot us an email, drpitchit@gmail.com. Yes, it is drpitchit. That was our original name before we changed it to Repitch. So yeah.
My computer's dying.
All right. Well, that is it for this episode, but we will catch you guys on the next one.
See you guys later. Bye.